hated this book with the passion of 1,000 suns. Every page made me want to scream. The characters were idiotic. The plot was far-fetched. And the pacing, don't even get me started. And yet, Betty here loved it. Loved it. She thinks Amy is a genius, that Nick is relatable. I'm losing brain cells just thinking about it.
You're so dramatic. The book is like a masterclass in suspense and manipulation.
Masterclass? Don't you mean disaster class? But fine. We're diving in. Let's talk Gone Girl, the book that broke my brain, and apparently Betty's heart.
Welcome back to Bookslayers. Today we're going to dive into a book that broke the internet and apparently Bonny's brain, Gone Girl. So I really, really, really liked it. Bonny, well, she's here to judge anyone that gave it more than 2 stars. Join us as we dissect the so-called perfect marriage of Nick and Amy. We'll pull apart the plot and the tropes so you can get the lowdown on our thoughts, views, and how many holes Bonny punched into her wall. And what we thought about the book to movie adaptation as well. So stay tuned.
Ugh. Don't even get me started on that movie. So for anybody who was very smart and very intelligent to have not have read this book, this is just a quick recap for you guys. So it's about this marriage between Nick and Amy. And Amy disappears on their 5th wedding anniversary. And it looks like foul play. Well, obviously, he doesn't know what the fuck's going on. So it's all about him trying to convince the police that he didn't do anything wrong, but he ain't acting that way. And there's a diary of her. Don't even get me started on her freaking diary entries about all the things that he's been doing to her over the past years. And it's literally their timelines of their past and their present and what happened to Amy and what did Nick do to her. Oh, why did you?
I can't believe that you hate this book so much. I really don't get it. I liked it. I watched the film first, which I think was a bit of a mistake because I think it made reading the book long, but just because I had to get it done for today and I'd read the book, so I was like, oh, I know what's going to happen and I just wanted to see the differences, but actually it's quite close to the film. Like everything is quite spot on actually. Even like, noticed there was lines that were literally repeated in the film. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. I actually think that the person who did the movie actually stayed very true to the book, which in some ways really pissed me off because I probably would have liked the movie had they done what most of them do. And that was, reimagine it. That might have sat better. But if we're going to start with the movie, oh my God, Ben Affleck? No. Just fucking no. He's Nick in the book, okay? He's an idiot, okay? He's a freaking moron. And Ben Affleck is obviously a freaking moron, but he's a really, bland moron. Like, Nick at least come across as having somewhat of a personality, even if he was stupid. But Ben Affleck was just like, man, I'm walking around. And I'm like, oh my God, no. See me at least on the screen. I was like, you're it, aren't you? You are a psychopath. You are a nutcase, but you're selling it to me. I get it. She's charismatic too on the screen. And I'm like, I didn't like her. I didn't like her anyway. But she sold it. Ben Affleck just didn't sell it. I'm like,
really? I was quite happy with the movie. Me and my daughter watched it together. But I will say, at the beginning of the movie, I don't know if there was something wrong with how it was on Disney. I don't know. But we had to put subtitles on because at the minute they were like, we was like, what? Can you speak up? I can't hear you. And it's like we had to tune in to how and it probably was Nick at the beginning, wasn't it? So it was just a bit deadpan, I guess.
Yeah, it was mumbly and weird and boring. I don't know. I guess I knew because I did the book first. And then I was like, I just wanted to see the differences, right? I wanted to see where it differed. It made my brain hurt. Mike's like, are you still watching that movie? I'm like, I keep having to take breaks. He's like, why are you watching the movie? I'm like, because me and Betty are going to see what the differences were, which one was better. He's like, you made so many complaints about the book. I'm like, "Yeah, I know." He's like, "I don't know why you're doing this to yourself." I'm like, "Because I'm a masochist, obviously." Like, did you not get that? Like, did you not
I
know?
liked it. I like everything felt true from the book, but I do wish I do prefer to read the book before I watch the movies. I enjoyed all of it. There was like the suspense. Like I said, it was all exactly how it was in the book. I thought they did a really good job with the film. I
Don't
just
get me wrong, as far as the book to movie adaptation was, the only problem I really had with it was Ben Affleck. But I didn't like the book, so obviously, how do you like a movie when you really don't like the
yeah,
book? So,
true.
it was hard for me, and there was some really weird things in there too, like the shower stuff. I don't know, it was weird enough in the book, but
The
watching them
shower
in the
stuff.
shower
Oh,
when
at
she's
the end when
whispering,
she's yeah.
I don't know, it was cringy. I was like, "Could have done without that." I like trying to fast forward, I'm like, yeah. But no, in all honesty, if it was just looking at it as a movie, the movie was done very well and stayed true to the book. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
But would you have liked the story if you hadn't read the book? Do you think you would have enjoyed the movie, as in liked the
Mm.
story, the plot, no,
You
still
know
hate
what? I
it?
probably okay. So the book for me is still a 1 star. There's no getting away from that. Now the movie I might have given a 3 if I hadn't read the book already. But it's just Ben Affleck really irritated me, and I probably would have turned it off because it was a lot of Ben Affleck at the beginning. And if I got $1 for every time I said Ben Affleck today, I'd be pretty happy. I'm gonna stop saying that.
Yeah. Let's move on
Repeating
from our
myself.
Benny
He's gonna
boy.
find himself now, and he's gonna go, "She didn't like my movie."
Bitch. Felt
No, I
like you're
didn't. I like Ben Affleck as an actor. I just say his name
yeah.
again. I did not like him in that movie. I don't
No.
he didn't sell the Nick from the crappy story to me, I guess. And that
Yeah.
how do you not? Like, how do you not? I don't know.
I don't know.
But for
It's
me,
fine for me.
okay, let's move to the book.
So, first half of the book then is just
Okay.
purely focused on Nick's wife Amy has gone missing. He doesn't know. He just comes home. There's like disruption in his living room, like things have been turned over. And the front door was wide open. His nosy neighbour had rung to be like, your cat's outside and your door's open. So he had to go home. Amy's missing. He obviously then calls the police and then they start an investigation, which they don't at first kind of pin it into him. But as it goes on, weird shit starts happening. It does come up that it's normally the husband, right?
Well, yeah. Apparently, that is actually a statistic that something like 91% of missing person and murder cases is the spouse.
Yeah.
Well known. So if you I know you're single. If anything ever happens to Mike, I'm gonna be like
You're
suspect
number
number
one.
1. Muggins, yeah, right here.
And all they've got to do is go back and listen to all these podcasts of listening to
Ew! I
podcasts
am
about
going
how to kill men and get away with it. And you're in
good.
trouble. You keep him safe. That's all
I
I'm
am.
saying.
He's gonna be wrapped in
That man's
cotton
safe.
wool. Okay. Number 1 point for me with this book, they had this whole like perfect couple, perfect marriage persona, right? Like to
Mhm.
everybody looking in, she was so great. Like, oh, he didn't turn up for drinks with my friends when their husbands all turned up. Oh, I don't care. It's okay. Do you, baby, right? And as a husband, if you're that person and your wife's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm okay. This is so great." And really inside she's going, "I'm gonna cut your balls off." Like,
Yeah.
and then
She's
she
not
starts
very
to suddenly
happy.
go, "I don't wanna be this way anymore. I don't wanna pretend," because that's what she used that exact word. "I don't wanna pretend to be something I'm not." And then he's like, "Wow, who the fuck did I marry?" Because all of a sudden she's starting to get a little crazy.
Yeah. I married the cool girl. She references that a lot, doesn't she? That she
Yeah!
was the cool girl and he wanted the cool girl and she was cool with him going out. She was cool with him coming round or not. She was
Yeah.
cool with, I don't know, football and I don't know, all this crap that a man wants a woman to be like. But do we not all like when you first start dating someone, I realised that they got to marriage before it became a problem, but we all kind of show up as our best self and we might let things slide a little bit, even though it's might be a little bit red flaggy. But when you like someone, you make more of an effort. So I feel like they've portrayed this in the book, and I think that's what people naturally do. You show up as your best self on your dates. But I think that they both kept it up for so long, and then they got married, and all of a sudden, bam, Nick's not trying anymore. He's being lazy, can't be bothered. He doesn't woo her. He doesn't buy a flower. Like, he doesn't do shit anymore. And then she gets a bit fucking knocked about it.
Yeah, but if you well, yeah, I'd probably get a little bit knocked too, but the whole catalyst of it was that he lost his job and then
Yeah.
she lost her job. So they're literally living on her trust fund. And if you're a man who's always paid your own way, where you worked as a kid, like you were mowing lawns or you were, washing cars or whatever, and you've always had a job, to suddenly be dependent on your wife's trust fund, that's really
Mhm.
demasculating. So
Yeah.
yeah, he was probably depressed. Rather than understanding that, "Hey, you little terrorist. Well, I got my own Amy." Arr. She literally decided to make it even harder for him.
Yeah, I didn't even really take that into account. It's because you hear that from her side, but then she kind of admits that she was pretending to be away, whereas I don't think he admits that from, like, his thoughts in the book, does
No.
he? No, but she does, that she put on this cool girl
Yeah.
persona.
Because she wanted him to love her because that's her thing, right? She needed him to be obsessed with her. But she had this whole, "Look at me, I'm amazing Amy. My parents wrote all these books about me and now I have to live up to that." But I think she got to the point where she was like, "Actually, I am," because I got the feeling she was a sociopath. I did.
Mm.
She is certified being nuts, and she's trained in psychology. Like, how do you beat that?
Yeah.
How do you beat that? And her it sounded like she was, like, super smart and the way her brain worked, but she
Yeah.
spent her whole time manipulating people. Like,
Yeah, she
in all
just used
honesty,
it clever for that, just
yeah,
to
I
manipulate
hated Nick,
everybody.
okay? I hated Nick. If weaponized incompetency looked like a person, weaponized incompetence, not incompetency, looked like a person, it'd be him, okay? Because he's like, "No, I can't do it. You're so much better than me. I'm gonna sit over here and be an idiot." Can you stop barking at me? She loves Gone Girl so much she's giving me shit. So I didn't like him anyway. But as the book progresses, and I think this is what they want you to understand, is that it starts out that you see him as being the bad guy.
Yep.
They kind of confirm that he is, but it's not the way you think. And honestly, how did he not spot the red flag sooner? Like, no wife is that tolerant. I'm sorry. What woman out there is going, "Sure, honey, you can always not turn up, and I'm going to keep smiling and I'm going to have sex with you on the dining room table." Like, I don't believe it. I don't. I don't believe that. He was an idiot to believe that.
Yeah. But then it wasn't then that they was having the massive problems. It's like they lost their jobs, then they moved to a different town so he can care for his, parents who are both ill. And then they become quite unhappy with each other. She's not happy there either, so that kind of plays into, like, her feeling more unloved and like, "Oh, I don't even like living here," kind of thing. And then he has an affair. He starts shagging one of his students from he has one job. What was his job? Can't remember. He had a main job, didn't he? And then he'd done teaching on the side as well or something, and he met a student who's, like, 23. I can't remember how old they're supposed to be at this point. He's
She's almost 40 because she mentions that a lot about, like, "Oh, it was funny when he was laughing at people when, older women trying so hard." And he's like, "Now I'm like almost 40. Like, now I'm one of those women." Right. So that was a
Yeah,
factor for the insanity that she was going through. But the reason that he cheated was, like, I don't know if you realize that, but he's talking about how Amy was always like, "Well, why can't you just do this? You don't do that right. You don't do that right. You don't do that right." He was like, she was just a giant nag. I was like,
yeah.
and she was withholding sex and he wanted a kid and she didn't want a kid. And like, you can understand that their marriage was already over. It's just they hadn't said anything. And I really hate miscommunication in any book. And the fact that they didn't even talk to each other. So, and she's getting pissed off. He's getting pissed off and it's just getting worse. But do you really turn to what she did?
No, let's just skip back to Nick for a minute, and then we'll come really quickly back to Amy. But he didn't need to then go and cheat, but his thing was he wouldn't leave her because she paid for the bar, and she could take that off him, and that was his only income. And I think just because she had the trust fund, like, she had money, he didn't. So he
Yeah, but it's
kind of
pretty much gone.
shouldn't have
Yeah, but it
he
was
should
pretty much gone. She gave it to her parents, right? And then what was left over, she used to buy the bar. So there
yeah.
wasn't anything left.
Oh, okay, but okay, so she could still take the bar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct.
So I think
It
that's
was hers. Yeah.
never an excuse to cheat, but I understand that the author was explaining through the book how he'd got to that to that point, how unhappy he was and stuff. And that's normally why people cheat, right? Like, they're not really happy. Like you said, they won't communicate about it, so they'll just do dumb fucking shit. So that was the start of it. And then Amy, psycho bitch, finds out
She
about it.
is certifiable.
Do you know what? Do you know what I'm most impressed with? I'm patient when I need to be, especially, you know, like work stuff and shit. I'm very impatient, like if I want something or I want to do something, like. But that girl, how long did she fucking bide her time for? How long did she build all this? That's what I'm amazed by, because I couldn't keep living with someone for like over a year. You know, they're off cheating. You know, every time he says he's working late or, you know, he's just going to the bar where he works, but don't come, like, you stay home. She knows every time when he's going out and cheating on her. And it's like, I don't know how you can keep, I couldn't. With stuff like that, I'd have to I'd launch at him. I'd be like, he'd get it both barrels straight as soon as I found out.
She watched them the very first time walk into that girl's place, right? Like, she saw
Yeah.
him go in there. I would have been like,
You fucker. Yeah, as if you wouldn't say anything then. Obviously, she didn't know that was the first time, though, either. She doesn't know that.
she was watching. He said it had been going on for about a year, and she had been planning this for about a year. So I don't think they hadn't been going at it very long.
No, but I think that was the first time. But I'm just pointing out that I don't think Amy knew that. She just turned up to the bar one night and then see them leaving, and this girl doesn't live too far away, does she? But like, maybe she didn't stop him because she thinks it was already going on. Like,
Yeah. But
I don't
still,
know.
automatic reaction would be, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. But that's what I mean. That's why she's so fucking crazy, because
I know.
she's gone, okay, I see you. I see what you're doing. Watch this. And then she
Yeah.
waited what, a whole year, like all of that diary out. So the first half of the book is Nick's point of view, obviously Amy going missing. And then it flicks back to the diary entries that she's written, which are basically a build-up of the last few years and including their moves. So it's all like the lovely stuff. So you automatically don't like Nick because she's saying all the nice stuff and he's like not too. I think he is bothered that she's missing, but we know that he's having an affair and he doesn't really want to be with her. So he's already the baddie.
Yeah.
She writes this fucking diary for a year.
I know. And he's like, she doesn't keep a diary. But that's what I mean, okay? So she played the long game. But even with the diary entries, okay? And I know in the beginning you're supposed to believe that Nick is like this horrible monster and he was unsupportive and she was the wonderful wife. I could hear right from the get-go that she was lying. Her version of the narrative from her diary wasn't ringing true for me. And it wasn't because I already knew. It's just I could hear with the tone of the way, because I listened to it and I was reading it, that the narrator was doing her voice. It's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, you're a liar. You are a fucking liar. And it really,
Yeah.
and the diary entries were the worst part for me. Like listening to the, oh, blah, blah, look how wonderful I am. I'm Amy. Where? I'm like, oh, I would have killed you sooner. You'd
Do you
already
think
be dead.
Was it worse because it was on an audiobook, or do you think you would have read it like that in your head?
No, I was switching between the two because I wasn't sure which was going to be better for me, whether it was going to be listening or reading it. I needed to know. So I did probably the first half of the book. I switched every few chapters between the two. And then I finished it with the audiobook because I just didn't want to touch the fucking book again. Like, that's how I ended it. And if I created a video of me with my headphones on and I literally fling them off, I'm like, fuck, that's over.
I do think, though, the first half of the book does build up like a good amount of suspense, because you actually, like, if you're reading this for the first time, obviously we knew the ending, but when you read it the first time, you actually don't know why Amy's missing. You don't know what's happened. I do feel like, though, reading it, I feel like you can tell that it wasn't Nick, but you don't actually know why. I don't know why. You don't know why she's missing. So it does build all of that up really well. And it builds up. And obviously what Amy's done while writing this diary, she's also laying little traps everywhere. Like, she does a treasure hunt for their anniversary every year. And it takes him to literally like, you found this in location A, now you have to go to location B. It's that, like, takes you all round everywhere. So he's used to that. But she literally takes him to all the places that he's had sex with Andy, who's having an affair with. And then she sets up things like she starts running loads of shit up on a credit card to make it look like he's got debt, hides all the shit in his sister's shed out the back so that one day they're going to come to that and he doesn't know that that's going to happen, but that's what happens. She ups the life insurance, but he's had to sign for it. She staged the crime scene in such a way that there's like this ottoman, which is quite a big thing, that literally won't tip over. It would only like push along the floor. So it's
Yeah.
like, this has been staged. Then they find the blood in the kitchen. She's like literally cut her arm open and like bled all over the kitchen, then really messily cleaned it up so that it can be picked up on one of them fancy light thingies. And on the morning of, because it's their anniversary, the day that she goes missing, she gets him to go and think about their relationship, and she knows where he'll go and think is on a beach where he hardly ever goes and where no one's
Yeah.
actually going to see him. And the idiot
Yeah.
does it. He goes to
Yeah.
this beach. I mean, I think that is quite not far-fetched, but she's lucky that he did that because that cancels out his alibi, doesn't it? And she can't, surely she would think he would do it, but it's not guaranteed that he would. So what she's done is laid all these traps. So the first half of the book, all these little things are building and it's looking bad for Nick. And then you get the surprise literally like 50% of the way through the book.
Yeah.
That ain't alive.
Yep. But for me, I didn't like her in the diary entries. I didn't like him. And even when the script gets flipped and we understand what's happened, I still didn't like him. I didn't. I don't wish what she did on him at all. Like, I'm not saying that, but both of them were so unreliable. I couldn't care less. And that was one of the biggest problems for me, is that I didn't want either of them to win. I was hoping both of them would die. That's where I was at. Well, for
I think,
me,
go on.
sorry, I was going to say, for me as a reader, I need somebody to root for. I need somebody to win. And I think that's where this book went completely wrong for me, is that I hated them both of equal measure.
See, I think the first half of the book, you're just trying to work out what's going on. So I don't know if I was rooting for anyone at that point. It was just more of a mystery.
Yeah.
When you hit the second half of the book and you realise what she's done, I'm impressed that she's put all this together. I don't like either of them as like people, but I don't really have an issue with not liking the characters in that way. But I think you start to see the injustice for Nick that, yeah, don't get me wrong, cheating's bad. Don't be fucking assholes and do it. But for what she's doing, bearing in mind that if he gets arrested for her murder, it's death penalty. So she's literally murdering him. That's a little bit too far. I can understand being pissed off. But so then I sort of started wanting him to work it out and to be able to like over her. But then the longer it went on, it was kind of like, you're a badass bitch. And I kind of, maybe I want to see how fucked up this could end, basically. And then I just wanted the really fucked up ending, which you kind of get.
Yeah, you kind of do. Now, I find it very clever the way that she managed to undo it all, but that was probably a contingency for her. Like, what if?
Yeah.
Like, she had it all mapped out. If he does this, I'll do this. If he does that, I'll do that. If he does that, I'll do this. Like, her brain was terrifying.
There was a part in the book, I think it literally says, always back up your backups or something, or back
Yeah.
up your plan, or she says something like that. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if she had several kind of plans. But her original plan, actually, which is even more fucking crazy, is she was actually going to kill herself.
I don't believe that. Yeah, I know,
No.
but I don't believe she said it, because I think that it was the author did that to garner sympathy, like that she was really so hurt that she'd kill herself, and then she's like, "Oh no, that's extreme." Really?
No.
That's the part you thought was extreme.
Yeah, I think maybe she believed that that's what she would do, and then later on realised, wait, why am I dying? He's the arsehole. I haven't done anything wrong except be the best wife ever. And then she decides not to kill herself, and then, yeah. What about the two characters that she meets when she goes and hides out at the cabin?
You know
Fucking
what?
knew something was coming a mile off, didn't you?
Oh, you could feel it. She's already in a place where people are fishy as fuck, and no pun intended, because I know he was catching fish. But he was really dodgy, and I felt that way. And the friend that she was like, "Oh, hey," and then she's making all these comments. I'm like, you're a mark.
Yeah.
That's what
100%.
you are, honey. And you're so like, "Oh, no one's gonna get me. You didn't even see it coming." And part of me was like, you know, you're a fucking moron for not seeing that. And the other part of me is like, they should have given you a slap. I would have loved that. Backhand across the
Yeah, you say that. Like, with all of her sort of cleverness and, like, she's done psychology, you'd think that she thinks she can read people. She obviously didn't read them very well. Or was it that she was just sort of in an environment that she's not used to and she's kind of winging it at that point? Because this wasn't her original plan, was it? Because the original plan
No.
die. But yeah, I did think that maybe Amazing Amy would have seen it coming.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. There was something about that whole situation. I don't think it was necessarily that she was in a different environment where she didn't have money, because I think that's a big thing for her, right? She always feels very confident and very sure of herself when there's money to fall back on.
Yeah.
And she didn't
Yeah.
really have very much. But I got the feeling that because she couldn't see the threads, like she hadn't anticipated that somebody would want to do something bad to her.
Yeah. Or
Like
maybe she
she's
didn't
that
even anticipate
egotistical.
even maybe she didn't even anticipate, like, meeting someone that wanted to be friendly. She was just going to hide out on her own. So she hasn't been able to plan for, like, massive cover stories or anything like that, has she? So
No, it
maybe
didn't
that's
seem.
through her as well.
I don't think she was expecting to actually talk to anybody, and that's
No.
retarded. You are out, people are gonna get curious as to why you're alone and you're not doing anything. I don't know, she felt to me like she was really smart, but really fucking stupid.
She was stupid in that scenario. And then
Yeah,
she
she
does
was.
this stupid thing when she
I don't
rings
know,
Desi.
you know what? She needed money, and she knew he had money, but she also didn't anticipate that he was going to go, "Oh, you need something from me? I'm going to now control you." Where she's the one that's used to doing all the controlling.
Exactly. Yeah. I think she literally says that in the book. That she got to a point with Desi. So she goes and meets Desi, who's like an old boyfriend who, I don't know, she broke up with when she was younger, and this guy's like totally in love with her, still writes her letters and stuff. Or is it him, or is it her keeping him there? Don't know. That could be
Well,
either, but
it's definitely him sending the letters, but they make it seem like she never sent any back, and I don't believe that.
no, that's what I mean. I think she could have kept it open and then she was receiving letters and then she makes
Yeah,
out she throws it all away.
I don't think she
Don't
was doing
know. I
that.
think she's kept him there because he's like multi-millionaire, but I don't know why she didn't want him then but I don't know. That's when they was younger. So then she rings him, they meet up, and then he takes her to his, I don't know, like
Summer
holiday
home. Yeah.
yeah. Um, and then after a while of being there, she starts to realize how much he's controlling her. Like he brings in the food, all of that, and then she realizes I can't control him. He's
No.
actually doing something.
But you know why? This was something I actually did know. The reason why she couldn't control him is that she didn't have the power anymore. Whereas when she had the power before, the power dynamic was that she was on top, she could control him. But when he realized that she needed him, he was not giving that up. Just like, "Can I have some money just in case?" He slips her $40 like he's doing her a favor. I was laughing. That was probably one
Yeah.
of my favorite moments in the book, was when she was like, she thought she could get all this money to, like, leave, and he's like, "Here you go, honey, it's $40." And then he's, like, trying to make her lose weight because she gained weight.
Yeah, I've actually noticed that down. So she's supposed to have only been there a couple of weeks, and apparently she'd put on, like, quite a bit of weight, and within a
She
couple of
was
weeks,
doing
she was nearly back to her
no,
normal.
she was putting on the weight before she left. She was wearing big summer dresses so that he wouldn't notice, but he wasn't having sex with her anyway. That's how he didn't notice. So she'd been plumping up for a while.
But then we know that she's not eating exactly great because she talks about, like fast foody type stuff that she eats while she's at the cabin. So I don't feel like she was actively trying to lose weight then, but she's at Desi's for like a couple of weeks and then it's, "Oh, I'm almost back to my weight, my actual weight." And I was like, well, that was a bit quick. 'Cause if I put on a stone, it's not coming off in 2 weeks. Do you know what I mean?
Some people it can though. Like, especially if he's like counting out how many peas she can have and she only gets like not quite a full glass of wine. Like you can
Maybe, I don't
probably
know.
see that. Yeah. I
Line,
think if
but
somebody
I get
I
the
think if
point.
somebody yeah. Well, she was losing weight at the cabin too. Like she obviously had gained some while she was
Yeah,
before,
maybe.
'cause she was trying to hide her identity. Think about it, she was skinny and pale and she had the long blonde hair, and then all of a sudden she was more, you know,
But this is
fuller
what
and
isn't it? In the film, you don't really get that because she's slim all the way through it. They didn't do that bit. They didn't they
no.
didn't they didn't chunk her up for it.
No, they didn't. I was okay with that, like, that was a
Yeah, it
really
was fine.
minor thing not to worry about, but it really
Yeah,
bothered Desi, and that was a big key
yeah.
thing in the book, right?
And she did it
But I
more to
wanted
disguise herself, but on the on the film, she just, well, and in the book, actually, she cuts off all of her hair and then dyes it like a really mousy, plain Jane kind of colour rather than her bright blonde. And then what does Desi do? Lose weight, put your hair back to the right colour.
Yep. Because he can, because she needs him. And that's kind of the point there. I really, yeah. It's funny watching the script get turned because I still didn't feel bad for her. I still didn't. I was like, you asked for this. You set this up and somebody is beating you your own game now. So,
Well, yeah, no, I definitely didn't feel sorry for her, but there was definitely a moment where you're like, she's got to get out of this. And then the way that she gets out of it, it's quite brutal in the film, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
in the book, it was a bit like you didn't feel like he would suffer because she basically gives him sleeping tablets after they've had sex so that she's got his stuff inside her because then she's going to cry rape. So he's knocked out and then she kills him.
Mm-hmm.
But in the film, they literally finish having sex. She pulls out a knife and then just cuts him through the throat. Like, brutal.
Yeah. I think they
Like,
were going through it. I actually thought that was better. I actually thought the movie did that better. But
the
do you know what
movie's
was
got to
really
be more dramatic, though, hasn't it? It's got to be more.
Yeah. You have to be able to see it. Like, it's not. Yeah, I get why they did that. But did you not hear what she said about how she was abusing her own vagina to make it look like rape?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, dear God, I already hate this book and you're really making it worse for me. Like, it was horrible. But there was something I wanted to ask you about because we kind of jumped ahead a little bit. How do you think like the media manipulation played into what she wanted to happen? Because she couldn't have planned that the media would literally build up this hate storm about him. But that's what happened. And I wonder what you thought about how much of it Amy had set into place, like had the notion that that would happen, or whether that was just an off, like that just happened.
I don't know. I think without anyone else clearly in the frame, everyone's going to start after a while of not finding out anything. You're going to then look to the husband. Also, she knows her husband quite well and knows that he's quite unemotional. He's quite like stoic in the face. Like he doesn't really give anything away. Like I can't remember why. It's something to do with his childhood where he sort of keeps everything bottled up. So even when he's doing them like press conferences, there's no emotion. There's no like crying. There's no breakdown, is there? It's just him
No,
like
but he
quite
smiles. Apparently, it's like the smile was like someone looks at him or says,
because he wants people to like him, and for some reason they get him to, like, stand next to the picture a bit more, and then the dickhead smiles. Like, that's literally the thing you can do. So maybe she just knew that he wouldn't come across well, or maybe or she knew that they would go for the husband when nobody else is obvious.
yeah.
Maybe it all just kind of worked out for her, but maybe she was smart enough to know that it would probably happen that way. Don't know. Don't know if she thought about that in the plan. It's definitely not in the book.
No, I wondered what you thought because I'm like, she had to know that he was going to come across looking like the village idiot that he clearly is, and that people were going to hate him. Because I'm like, that is such a clever use of something that you can't actually predict how people are going to react, but you know how that person is going to react in that situation. Like he became like everyone hated him except for that lady that kept like touching him and flirting with him. Like, what a creep.
That really done my head in. What was that woman thinking? Should we have a selfie? If that was me, like, or a normal bloke, you would literally be like, can you fuck off? My wife's missing. Like, it's very obvious what she's trying to do. Like, why don't you just tell her to fuck off? Oh, this is another thing that really bugs me. The whole thing with Andy at the beginning where she turns up after Amy's gone missing. Andy turns up at the house and, you know, he's sort of trying to keep her on side, but also can't be seen with her. Why wouldn't he play on her emotions and be like, babe, listen, like they're going to start looking at me soon. And if they find out about us, I'm going to jail and they're going to kill me. So for us, for our future, you know, lay it on thick. She's only young. For our future, we really need to stay very separated for now. But don't worry, I'm coming back for you. He never says anything like that. He's just like, oh no, we just need to.
But he kind of did. But he kind of did. He kind of did try and play on that. But she was like, oh, but my feelings, what I need. I'm scared. Ah! You could tell that she's a moron.
Like that. Oh yeah, she is, of course. And she's, yeah.
No, because I know what part of the book you're talking about. He turned around and said to her, look, he's like, they're going to look at me. We got to cool this for a bit. Like we're in danger right now. So I love you.
He was saying it all about him. He wasn't saying, "And we'll have a future." He was like, "Look, they're looking at me. I've got to protect myself, basically. Like, you need to let me." And if he gave her a bit more of it was about both of them. That's what
Yeah.
I didn't get, because that's how I always play it on someone else's emotions, and the fact that he would
How
die, 'cause it's
sneaky you
definitely.
are. How sneaky you
No,
are.
I'm
Yep.
manipulating like Amy.
I know, but the lawyer was the one that told him basically what to say. So really the lawyer kind of fucked up there because
Yeah.
that's what he told him. Like, you have to distance yourself, make her realize that you're going to be in a lot of trouble, playing on the fact
Yeah.
that she thought he was more important than her. But you could tell by the way she was talking, she's like, but you have to call me every day. I have to
It's
see
so
you. And she's
pathetic.
trying to fucking straddle him and stuff. I'm like, okay, you picked a crazy wife and just a fucking insane, crazy loser of a girlfriend. Like, you are
Yeah.
not, you're batting 2 for 2 right there, buddy. Like, seriously.
Fucking dumbass. Yeah.
Yes.
I had
But
to
let's
get that.
talk about the revenge. How far she went, as you said, for writing the diary for a freaking year. And she set that little game up of doing the treasure hunt. And then she's got the underwear in his office and all the places they had sex and the Punch and Judy dolls. Okay. The one thing about this book, the Punch and Judy dolls might have been the only thing that I'll ever remember for the rest of my days from this book because I'm like, wow, she really, really painted a very horrific picture about what she was trying to make them think about him, especially with the missing handle, like the missing club. I'm like, "Oh my god." She just went from, like, nutcase to full-blown psychopath, and everybody should lock their fucking doors. I'm like,
It was
"Oh my
good
god."
though. She's clever.
It was creepy. That was the only time during the whole book where I was like, "What?" And I could feel the hairs on the back of my neck prickle, and I went like this. No word of a lie, I went like this. Just to make sure there was no one behind me. And that was the only time in the book where I thought maybe if it kept going on that trajectory, maybe I would be slightly wrong and it would have raised the star. No, but that was only a good part. That was it.
No, you're wrong.
No, I am right. You have a right to your very wrong opinions. Okay.
Same.
You're very
Right
wrong.
back at you, baby. Jacqueline. Me. It's me. Desi's mum.
My God. Do you know what I thought was really funny? Was
Yeah.
that they looked really similar, Amy and
Him and
her. Like
Amy.
that was,
Yeah, that's what
yeah.
creeped me out. I was like,
So
this
he
weirdo.
clearly wants to have sex with his mum. Something seriously wrong with this kid. She bosses him around. So when I was like looking at the whole situation, now I'm like, clearly he wants to control his mum and he's doing it through controlling Amy.
Oh my God. Did you do
Yeah.
psychology or something at school?
Only a GCSE. I didn't go far.
Oh, I didn't
Stop
even think
whining.
about it like that. I just thought, ooh, he wants to fuck his mum.
No,
Motherfucker.
I could. Because she was like, "Oh, no, Desi's not doing that. Oh, you're gonna go now. You'll do this, you'll do that." And you could see that he was still a little boy as far as she was concerned. So he was
Mm.
taking out all the things that he couldn't say to his mum out on Amy is what it felt like to me. And I'm like, "Oh my god, you know what? Gillian Flynn is kind of a fucking weirdo." Like, there's something like her brain works in a really weird way. I
I
do get
love
why
it.
people like this book. I get why people like this book. I do. I can understand why it's so popular. It just was not for me at all. At all. Not even a little bit.
Yeah. I've taken the liberty to write down some funny quotes from the book that I enjoyed. Do you want to hear
Let's
them?
hear them. Yes, I bloody do.
Okay, let me work out. So this was near the beginning. I think this might be Amy talking about Amazing Amy, the book, but I'm not sure. This is
Yeah,
a line from the beginning. And she's put, the whole book made me want to punch Amy right in her stupid, spotless vagina. Spotless? Because Amazing Amy's perfect, I guess. That made me laugh. And then Go, she's eating peanut butter, really enjoying it. And she says, if I had a dick, I'd fuck this peanut butter.
yeah.
Lovely. Very ladylike. Which
That would work though. That would feel weird.
I'm not sure who this is talking about. I feel like this might be talking about Desi's mum, but I don't know who's saying it. I could smell her. I could smell her though, a female scent, vaginal and strangely lewd. Lewd. I don't know what lewd is either, by the way. I haven't even Googled that. Vaginal. Ugh, it's when someone smells vaginal.
Yeah, but that's what, like fish? Like
I don't
musty
know.
fish?
You know, like, I'm gonna say something really gross. When you use, like, a public toilet and a woman's been in there before, and when she comes out and you can smell it. Ugh, so gross. So gross. Have a wash.
Yuck!
This is Amy talking about Nick and when he would come back, and even though he'd shower, she'd still feel like she could smell Andy on him. These are all the gross things. It's all very vaginal. So she says, "Never entirely erase the stink, though she must have one rank pussy." I feel like you'd just say that to make yourself feel better because your husband's fucking someone else. But
You wouldn't. I'm telling you right now, if she didn't know, she wouldn't know. She wouldn't be
yeah.
saying that.
And then this just made me laugh at the end. So this is Tanner, who's the lawyer, and so Amy's already back and he's getting all the backstory of what Amy's done and Nick and just how this has all played out. And he's like, "You two are the most fucked up people I've ever met. And I specialize in fucked up people." And I was like, yeah, I think that sums it up.
Yeah. But you know what? It was funny because we're going to talk about like the ending in the marriage and whatnot. But watching how you kind of, I had a glimmer of sympathy for him when she came back and he was trapped and he was trying to work with the police to like get the
Mhm.
truth out there. And then now she's pregnant and he's like, "Oh no, I have to stop." And I'm like,
You're an
"Are you
idiot.
fucking retarded? Your kid is going to grow up with that psychopath as a mother and you think that you're better?" And that actually, after I just remembered, after reading that, I'm like, you know what? She's a little less fucked than you are.
What?
That's how
No.
I felt because, yes, because he is trapping that child with that crazy ass mother
Yeah, but
instead of getting her put to jail.
if he's not there, then that child's on its own with that mother.
Yeah, but he's trying to get her put in prison and he stops talking to the police.
So you're saying he could have carried on and he would have got the baby out of jail?
Yes, she would have had the baby in jail because that would have just been what
But they've
happened.
been trying it for quite a long time. He wasn't getting anywhere. He had nothing. She's too clever. He was never going to trick her.
Yeah, but being pregnant, pregnancy brain's a real thing. She would have slipped. I'm telling you, right fucking now, I've been pregnant a lot, okay? A lot. I have, yeah. The pregnancy slips are fucking real, man.
So what was his reason then for when he was just like, "Oh, she's pregnant. I'm going to have to stay with her now."
The
Oh no!
reason that
Oh no! She'd like also kept other stuff, didn't she? Like she'd alluded to in her diary that he tried to poison her once, and she kept the sick because she's
no,
fucking right.
yeah. So it looked as though that he'd been doing this over a period of time, poisoning her with antifreeze.
Yeah, but she kept
And
it, but he signed it, and then he just left the empty jar out for her, and she was like, "Oh," and she weren't bothered, but wouldn't that freak you out and go, "But what else has she got? She's got other shit." Maybe
yeah,
he was just really fucking scared and was like, "I'm gonna stop doing this because I might be able to get her down, but she's gonna take me down with her." Like,
no, that what
we
he
don't know.
said,
He's got plans.
he said to that cop lady, he is like, "I have to stop because now there's a child, and I have to be around to protect that child."
Mm.
So I don't think that he thought that he couldn't do it. He literally went, "Oh, well, I'm not gonna be like my dad. I'm gonna be a great dad," because he had a terrible dad. But I don't know, my estimation of him would be, what is she gonna do to your look what she's put you through, okay? This
Yeah.
kid's gonna keep her up. This kid's gonna puke on her and piss on her. What if it says, "I hate you," one day? What are you coming home to? Because she is insane.
Mhm.
She had that girl. This was one of the things that was, like, terrifying, was when she had that girl pretend to be her. Do you remember when she had her do her hair as a kid?
Yeah.
And then was going up to go say to my mom, "I'm gonna be the new Amy." Like, stuff like that, and I'm like, "This
These are
girl
bits that
ruined
film
that."
it.
Yeah. I'm like, "That girl, she ruined that girl's life because she wanted to" what? Psychologically damage her parents because she had to be perfect because they had 1 kid. They were
Yeah.
terrible parents. Like, I'm sorry, okay? She literally punished her parents too. She's punishing her husband. You think that a kid's gonna get away from that? Especially
Yeah,
if
but
it doesn't like
she's not
her?
but she doesn't like her parents though, and to be honest, there is something fucked up there. So they use her as a base for these Amazing Amy books, and they would kind of base it on her life. But every time she didn't achieve something, or if she gave up something, then Amazing Amy would do it and be amazing. So it's like she never lived up to, her parents were literally writing like what they wanted her to be in her eyes, like this amazing person. And she wasn't, and she never lived up to it. So I don't think she really cared. And I don't really care that she was not actively hurting her parents, but didn't care about hurting her parents because they was hurting her and making her feel like shit. I wouldn't want parents like that.
Yeah, but if you think about it from the logic that she's unreliable, she's lied all the time about Nick. How much of that's true about her parents?
But it's in the books that Amazing Amy does this stuff. She never
Yeah, but
says
how do
shit about it, but I think I, as a reader, took that because she's constantly being compared to a much better version of herself.
Yeah, but you're saying that, like, that her parents were doing that on purpose. How do you know that they weren't writing these books, that she was doing it at the time and then she stopped and then they moved on to something else? We're taking that the reason that she's punishing her parents and that we should be okay with that is that she's saying these things happened. How do we know it's true? Because you can't know. All she's done is lie about Nick. She's told all she's done is lie. So what's to say that she wasn't lying as a child? Like, you have no idea whether or not these things truly happened.
Amazing Amy. So it does infer that Amy didn't start violin and then quit after 2 weeks to follow what normal Amy was doing. She become I can't even remember the word, a posh word for an opera thing. But do you know what I mean? I feel like that is, what's the word? I don't know, like a musician, I guess. Well, it's not musician, though. I was thinking of a fancier word. I do think it infers that that bit is a bit true because the book's literally called Amazing Amy and everyone loves Amazing Amy. I don't think...
If I write a book about my kids and I call it Amazing Thomas, and Thomas today put all his colouring books back and Thomas didn't, is that really me saying that I wish Thomas would put his colouring books back? Or is that I am advertising that my kid is like that, but she's not really, because you want the world to believe that? Maybe this wasn't anything about Amy, and that's how I was viewing it because I already didn't trust her. And she did all these horrible things to her parents. Like, come on, she pushed someone down the stairs. Like, she did a lot of horrible stuff. But that's what I mean. So her saying the reason I do this is because my parents wrote this book series and they always made Amy better than me. Did they? Did they? Or did you decide that you didn't want to do something anymore, but the book was already published? Or the book was already being written. You're not going to change what you've written because your daughter suddenly changed what she wanted to do. Like, I didn't trust her. So I can't say that her parents were good or bad or whatever, because her dad kind of seemed okay. I don't know. I kind of got, the mom was a bit weird. Like, I'm not saying that, but I think it was more to do with the fact that she wanted them to dote on her and they were psychologists and that's not what psychologists do. So she was punishing them. And she needed to give you a better story like she did for Nick. Like, oh, he was abusing me, he tried to kill me. Because it wouldn't have, if she disappeared and there was no diary and no one's there saying, well, he was abusive or she was pregnant or whatever, would the story have sounded so good? Would you have felt sympathy for her?
Don't know.
No, you wouldn't have, because it would have just been, well, she ran off because she was unhappy and no one would have looked any further than that.
Yeah, no, true.
But the second all these things started coming out, it's like, oh, now there's blood. Oh, now there's underwear. She had to tell a story to make somebody believe that she was in danger and that something bad had happened.
Well, yeah,
so she's a master storyteller, and I think that started as childhood, and I think she's just a crazy person. Crazy.
Yeah, but it's crazy because of her parents have made her like that and made her feel so insecure and kind of rejected and not loved because Amazing Amy was so much better. I think that's what
she wants you to believe. That's what she wants you to believe. I don't trust her. So I think that's it really boils down to, did her childhood create that person, or was she already innately that person and she's using an excuse to be worse? I don't like her. I don't trust her. She's crazy.
I don't think anyone likes her. Apart
well,
from
I don't know. I was
clever. She's very
maybe
clever.
not liked her. Could understand being pushed to a limit. Like, I don't know.
Get time for a year. That's too long.
She was crazy, but she also took their toxic marriage and then trapped him in it. It's like, you can't get away from me.
Yeah,
we're gonna be so happy.
Yeah, like, but she's like, as long as you keep being good and be the Nick that I like, we'll be fine. So now he's got to live the rest of his life being the perfect husband. But he's almost like, his view was, yeah, but then if I just do that, then we'll be all right. It's like, no, you
How
yourself.
hot? Yeah, but she's going to watch everything. Did he
Yeah.
wash the spoon right? And now I'm going to be like, oh my God, I'm rewashing fucking spoons because what if Mike doesn't like the way I wash my spoon? Did I rinse it enough?
She should do a second book. It's been a very long time. Yeah, but then we can see what their kid turns out like. We can see how their marriage ends up. We could find out all the answers to these questions.
I don't care.
Second book. I do. You don't fucking read it. I do. You love it, really.
Yeah. How did you feel about the end, though? Like, do you wish that?
I liked that it was nuts. I liked it. I liked being left, and I liked that it. I think when I watched the movie, me and Lace literally looked at each other and was like, "Was that it? What? Why does it just stop? Like we need more." But it literally stops on, "We're going to stay together and we're pregnant." In the book, it goes a little bit further, like all the way through her pregnancy, he's still there.
Well, yeah,
and
no choice.
I don't know, he's like rubbing her head or something, and I don't know. She sort of thinks he's going to say something sweet. And he's like, I just feel sorry for you because you have to be you every day. Or something like that. And it's really fun. And yeah, so it's like, I'm still here. But yeah, it's a nutso ending. Like, you wouldn't predict that ending.
I do think that she closed it out probably the best way she could have for the story. But again, I didn't like any of it. No one got their comeuppance. I hated everybody. The pacing was god awful. Like, oh my God, really? Like, how long did they drag out that she was not really missing? And we had to listen to Nick be an idiot for half a book. And that was a 20-hour audiobook. 20 hours. So 10 of that was him going, "You're stupid."
Was it? We spoke about this the other day, and I was saying like how long it was. And you said it's 20 hours, but then I said it's 400 odd pages, and you was like, it's nearly 600. And I was like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Yeah, there's two types.
There's an extended version.
Well, they called it the movie tie-in. So I don't know if they added extra crap in there or what, but there was two books. One of them was almost 150 pages more. It didn't make sense why somebody would see your husband cheating and automatically go, fuck you, I'm going to frame you for murder, so you die in jail. That didn't make sense. It didn't make sense that he was that retarded that he didn't realize that all these things he was being set up. Like, I don't know. He was an idiot. She was too smart for her own good, but she was also an idiot. And I don't know. I didn't like it. I was so glad when it was over. I did a little jig. And then Mike's like, don't you need to write notes now? I'm like,
ew.
He's like, so you're going to have to think about it a while now. I'm like, I hate you. You can make dinner.
So what did you rate it then? Just to finish up.
A 1 star. But honestly, yeah, I did.
Not a 1 star.
Yeah, 1 star. But you know what? After talking to you,
someone else.
She doesn't agree with me, okay? Every time I say something bad about this book, my dog goes bonkers.
From one bitch to another.
Yeah, one bitch to another. 1 star for you. After talking to you, though, I can actually see some of the brilliance in what they were trying, the author was trying to do. It's just, it was too slow. And you know what? If it had been better paced, if the pace had been better, if it had been cut down by maybe 100 pages, maybe if they tightened up some of the plot holes, because I felt like some of the stuff was really unbelievable, I think it could have been a really good book. I think I'm just so used to like that being boom, 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 whoop, boom, 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 boom. And there's always one person that I hope it works out for you, honey. This book, I'm like, I hope you all die. And I hope someone sets fire to you. And I hope that they all sing on TV, "Ooh, ding dong, the witch is dead." And none of that happened. And I think that really disappointed me again. And I knew she wasn't going to die, but I was really sad.
Well, really sad. It was 5 star from me, and I vote for a second book. So there you have it.
I'm going to growl at you. My dog does not agree with me, okay? Because she sat and watched the movie with me. We were on the bed, had my laptop, and she was watching it. And every now and again, she tilt her head. I don't care. Your opinion doesn't matter. You don't have a podcast. Get out of here. But you know what? I don't actually regret redoing it because I think I needed to know that my hatred was justified.
Okay. So next week's episode, we'll be doing our mini pod where we're going to discuss a couple of books that overlap. Oh, I'm doing Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Yes.
I'm doing Dear Debbie, which I have done actually. A Novel Crime by Deborah Levison and Wolfworm by T. Kingfisher. So to make sure that you don't miss out on that episode, because we'll be talking about all of those, make sure you follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast and you'll be the first one to get the episode.
We have decided that as we're running down this older path of thrillers, that we are going to do The Silent Patient next.
Yay! I've never read it.
I'm really glad that you haven't, because my opinion of it was I gave it a 2-star originally. But now that I've read more from the author, and now that I've just done this book in a new mindset, I think that I'm going to change my opinion. I think there's a good chance I'm going to go in with a new understanding and appreciation of this book. So I'm excited, actually. This one I'm actually excited to do.
I hope I don't get any messages from you or see TikToks or whatever of you with this book going, oh my God, I hate it.
Did you enjoy my TikTok?
I did. I loved it. I loved thinking of you over there in Canada and how much you hate Betty.
I did curse you twice. So if you suddenly get a pain in your back, that was the pin I stuck in it.
Well, this has been fun.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments whether or not you are a fan of Gone Girl or whether you're like me and you found it lacking. We'd love to talk to you about your thoughts and feelings on the book that we have very different opinions on. We hope that you have the reading week that you deserve, and we will catch you next week. Take care, readers.
See you soon.